Hello everyone, welcome to Prelims Warm Up. This initiative has been brought to you by Aptitude Academy for Civil Services, and my name is Shaikh Datta. I am the faculty for Geography and Environment at Aptitude Academy for Civil Services. So let us have a look at the first question for today. The first question has been taken from UPSC Prelims 2018. And the first question is asking, number one, consider the following statements. First statement is the first democratically elected Communist Party government formed in a state in India. First statement is the first democratically elected Communist Party government formed in a state in India. Number two, India's then largest bank, Imperial Bank of India, was renamed State Bank of India. Number three, Air India was nationalized and became the national carrier. And number four, Goa became a part of independent India. The four statements are the first democratically elected Communist Party government formed in a state in India. Second is India's then largest bank, Imperial Bank of India, was renamed as the State Bank of India. Number three, Air India was nationalized and it became the national carrier. And fourth is Goa became a part of independent India. Now you have been asked which of the following is the correct chronological sequence of the above events. Okay, so you have to arrange them in terms of chronology, which happened first and which happened at the last. Sequentially, if we see, B is the right answer, that is 3214. 3214 is the right answer. So if we look at the explanation part, see over here, first statement was the first democratically elected Communist Party government formed in a state in India. So we get to see that was later. What happened earlier was in 1953, Air India was nationalized and became India's national carrier. So 3 is Air India was nationalized and became national. When did it happen? It happened in 1953. So in 1953, we get to see Air India was nationalized and it became the national carrier. In 1955, that is, we get to see India's largest bank, that is the Imperial Bank of India, was renamed as the State Bank of India. In 1955, India's largest bank, that is Imperial Bank of India, was renamed as the State Bank of India. This one. India's then largest bank, Imperial Bank of India, it was finally renamed as the State Bank of India. This happened in 1955. Next is number one. Number one is the first democratically elected Communist Party government formed in a state in India. So this happened in 1957, where we get to see the first democratically elected Communist Party government outside Europe gets to power in Kerala with CPI leader EMS Namboodiripad as the chief minister. Okay, so for the very first time we get to see 1957, the first democratically elected Communist Party government outside Europe. It was formed in Kerala when CPI came to power. And finally, the last one, that is Goa, became a part of independent India, and this happened in 1961. So Goa, it officially became a part of India and it officially came under India after 400 years of Portuguese rule. Okay, so 1953, Air India was nationalized and became India's national carrier. 1955, we get to see India's largest bank, Imperial Bank of India, that was renamed as the State Bank of India. 1957, India's first democratically elected Communist Party government. In fact, it was the first democratically elected Communist Party government outside Europe. It came to power in Kerala. That happened in 1957, and Goa became a part of India after 400 years of communist rule, 400 years of Portuguese rule in 1961. Okay? So this is the sequence. Moving on to the next question, that is question number 2, again taken from UPSC Prelims 2018. The question is asking, the right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty. The right to privacy, it is protected as an intrinsic part of the right to life and personal liberty. Which of the following in the Constitution of India correctly and appropriately imply the above statement? Okay. So, right to privacy, it is protected as an intrinsic part of right to life and personal liberty. Which of the following in the Constitution of India correctly and appropriately imply this above statement? So, the right answer is C, that is Article 21 and the freedoms guaranteed in Part 3. Okay, Article 21 and the freedoms which are guaranteed under Part 3, that is, we are talking about the fundamental rights and the freedoms which are there over here. So all of these together that implies that right to privacy is protected as an intrinsic part of the right to life and personal liberty. Let us try to see the explanation part. The Supreme Court, in the case of K.S. Puttaswamy and others versus Union of India and others, that they stated that right to privacy is an integral part of the right to life and personal liberty, which has been guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution. It added that the right to privacy is intrinsic to the entire fundamental rights chapter of the Constitution. Hence, the correct answer is C. Right to privacy is intrinsic to the entire fundamental rights chapter of the Constitution. Okay, so right to privacy, it is protected as an intrinsic part of the right to life and personal liberty, and this we get to see has been implied through Article 21 and the freedoms which have been guaranteed in Part 3 of the Constitution. Moving on to the third question, also taken from 2018 prelims. Here we get to see that you have 7 different names which have been mentioned. For example, number 1 is areca nut. So we have 7 types of crops. 1 is areca nut, 2 barley, 3 coffee, 4 finger millet, 5 you have groundnut, 6 you have sesame, and 7 you have turmeric. You have been asked, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs announced the minimum support price for which of the above? Okay. So areca nut, barley, coffee, finger millet, groundnut, sesame, turmeric. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has announced the minimum support price for which of the above? So answer is B, that is 2, 4, 5 and 6 only. So 2, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. So barley, finger millet, groundnut, sesame. So these are the ones, these are the crops: barley, finger millet, groundnut, sesame. These are the crops on which we get to see the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has announced minimum support price. So the MSP, that is minimum support price, it is fixed on the recommendations of the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. The MSP, it is fixed on the recommendations of the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, CACP, Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices. The CACP, it is a statutory body. It is a statutory body, and it submits separate reports recommending prices for Kharif and Rabi seasons. Initially, MSP covered paddy, rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, that is finger millet, barley, gram, tur, moong, urad, sugarcane, groundnut, soybean, sunflower seed, rapeseed, mustard, cotton, jute, and tobacco. From 1994 to 1995 onwards, we get to see there are some other crops also, like Niger seed, sesame. They were included under the MSP program or MSP scheme of the Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices, CACP, in addition to the edible oil seeds already covered by the Commission. Similarly, we get to see also during 2001 to 2002, the government enhanced the terms of reference of the Commission by also including lentils or masoor. So it's very important that you understand MSP covers paddy, rice, wheat, jowar, bajra, maize, ragi, which is also called as finger millet, barley, gram, tur, moong dal, urad, sugarcane, groundnut, soybean, sunflower, rapeseed, mustard, cotton, jute, tobacco, and after that we also have Niger seed, sesame, and along with that we also have lentils or masoor, which is also covered under MSP program or MSP scheme. Okay, so answer is B, that is barley, finger millet, groundnut, sesame. All these are covered under MSP. Okay, now moving on to the next question, that is the fourth question, and again taken from UPSC Prelims 2018. In which one of the following states is Pakhui Wildlife Sanctuary located? So Pakhui Wildlife Sanctuary, where is it located? A, Arunachal Pradesh, B, Manipur, C, Meghalaya, and D, Nagaland. So out of this, we get to see the right answer is A, that is we get to see it's in Arunachal Pradesh. Pakhui Wildlife Sanctuary is also called as Pakke Tiger Reserve. Okay? So Pakhui, it is a wildlife sanctuary and a dedicated tiger reserve, which is also called as a Pakke Tiger Reserve in the district of East Kaming in Arunachal Pradesh, India. Okay, Pakui Wildlife Sanctuary. It is a dedicated tiger reserve, also called as the Pakke Tiger Reserve, and it is present in the district of East Kameng in Arunachal Pradesh, India. It has an area of over 860 square kilometers, and it is bordered by the Kameng River and the Pakke River, which are important sources of water for the animals and the irrigation of the vegetation. The Pakui Reserve is neighbor to the Nameri Tiger Reserve in Assam, and making this area a true treasure trove in terms of these spectacular animals. So it is this Pakui Tiger Reserve. It is lying adjoining to the Nameri Tiger Reserve in Assam. The area was first declared the Pakke Reserve Forest in July 1966. 11 years later, it was named the Camo Sanctuary, and then in 2002, it was formally christened as the Pakui Wildlife Sanctuary and the Pakke Tiger Reserve. So 4A is the right answer. Moving on to the last question for today. And this question has also been taken from UPSC Prelims 2018. With reference to India's satellite launch vehicles, consider the following statements. With reference to India's satellite launch vehicles, consider the following statements. Number one, PSLVs, they launch the satellite useful for Earth resources monitoring, whereas GSLVs are designed mainly to launch communication satellites. Okay. So with reference to India's satellite launch vehicles, consider the following statements. Number one, PSLVs, they launch the satellite useful for Earth resources monitoring, whereas GSLV are designed mainly to launch the communication satellites. Next, satellites launched by PSLV appear to remain permanently fixed in the same position in the sky as viewed from a particular location in the Earth. Third is Gslv Mk3 is a four-stage launch vehicle with the first and third stages using solid rocket motors and the second and the fourth stages using liquid rocket engines. I'll repeat once again. This is regarding India's satellite launch vehicles. So number one, PSLVs, they launch the satellite useful for Earth resources monitoring, whereas GSLVs are designed mainly to launch communication satellites. Second, satellites launched by PSLV appear to remain permanently fixed in the same position in the sky as viewed from a particular location on the Earth. Third is GSLV Mk3 is a four-stage launch vehicle with the first and third stages using solid rocket motors and the second and the fourth stage using liquid rocket engines. You have been asked which out of these statements are or is correct. The right answer is A. That is one only. What was the first statement? PSLVs, they launch the satellites which are useful for Earth resources monitoring. PSLVs, they launch those satellites which are useful for Earth resources monitoring, whereas GSLVs are designed mainly to launch communication satellites. See over here, both PSLVs, that is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicles, and GSLVs, that is Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, are satellite launch vehicles developed by ISRO. So they are mainly meant to launch satellites. PSLV, or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, is designed mainly to deliver the Earth observation or remote sensing satellites with lift-off mass of up to around 1750 kg to sun-synchronous circular polar orbits of around 600 to 900 km altitude. PSLVs, or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, it is mainly designed to deliver the Earth observation or remote sensing satellites. So remember this, PSLVs, they are mainly meant to launch those satellites which are useful for Earth resources monitoring. Okay, so PSLV is designed mainly to deliver the Earth observation or remote sensing satellites with lift-off mass of up to around 1750 kg to sun-synchronous circular polar orbits of 600 to 900 km altitude. Apart from launching the remote sensing satellites to sun-synchronous polar orbits, the PSLVs, or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicles, is also used to launch the satellites of lower lift-off mass of up to around 1400 kgs. Okay, so PSLVs, they are used to launch the satellites which are having a lesser mass, that is around up to 1400 kg, to the elliptical geosynchronous transfer orbit. The GSLV is designed mainly to deliver the communication satellites to the highly elliptical geosynchronous transfer orbit, GTO. So statement 1 is true. PSLVs or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle is an indigenously developed expendable launch system of ISRO, this Indian Space Research Organization. It comes in the category of medium lift launchers with a reach up to various orbits, including the geosynchronous transfer orbit, lower Earth orbit, and polar sun synchronous orbit. So the second statement that satellites which are launched by PSLV appear to be fixed, that is geostationary satellite, that is not true, because here we get to see that when it comes to, first of all, let us just analyze the first statement. First statement, we get to see that both the statements, both the type of launch vehicles, that is PSLV or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, and the GSLV or the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle, both of them are satellite launching vehicles which have been designed by ISRO. PSLV is designed mainly to deliver the Earth observation or the remote sensing satellites, which are having a liftoff mass of about 1750 kg. And where will it send it? This will be sent to sun synchronous circular orbits, which are having an altitude of around 600 to 900 kilometers. Apart from launching the remote sensing satellites to sun synchronous polar orbits, the PSLV is also used to launch the satellites of lower liftoff mass of up to about 1400 kg to the elliptical geosynchronous transfer orbit. So PSLVs, they can also lift satellites up to the geosynchronous transfer orbit or GTO. The GSLV is designed mainly to deliver the communication satellites to the highly elliptical geosynchronous transfer orbit. This much we have understood. The GSLV, it is designed mainly to deliver the communication satellites, and it is communication satellite. Whereas when it comes to PSLV, these are remote sensing satellites. So communication satellites will be sent to the GTO or the geosynchronous transfer orbit by the GSLV. Okay, GSLV is geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. Next, so statement 1, you can understand that is true. Next, second statement is PSLV or the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. It is an indigenously developed expendable launch system of ISRO. It comes in the category of medium lift launchers with a reach up to various orbits. So where can it reach? It will reach up to the geosynchronous transfer orbit or the GTO, lower Earth orbit or LEO, polar sun synchronous orbit as well. So the second statement that satellites launched by PSLVs appear to be fixed, that is, they are geostationary satellites. So that is not correct, because they can be sent all the way up to geosynchronous transfer orbit or the lower Earth orbit or even the polar sun synchronous orbit. Next, Gslv Mk3. Here, if you look at the third statement, the third statement was saying that Gslv Mk3 is a 4-stage launch vehicle with the first and third stages using solid rocket motors and the second and the fourth stages using liquid rocket engines. So over here we get to see Gslv Mk3 is a 3-stage heavy lift launch vehicle and not 4-stage. So Gslv Mk3, it is a 3-stage heavy lift launch vehicle which has been developed by ISRO. The vehicle has 2 solid strap-ons, a core liquid booster and a cryogenic upper stage. So Gslv Mk3, it is not a 4-stage launch vehicle, rather we get to see it is a 3-stage launch vehicle. So Gslv Mk3 is a 4-stage launch vehicle with the first and third stages using solid rocket motors. That is incorrect. Gslv Mk3 is a 3-stage heavy lift launch vehicle which has been developed by ISRO, and the vehicle has 2 solid strap-ons, a core liquid booster and a cryogenic upper stage. Okay, so with this we complete today's session. I hope you have liked this video. Please let us know in the comment section. Also, please like and share this video with your friends who are also preparing for UPSC. Also, please like and subscribe Aptitude Academy for Civil Services YouTube channel for more such informative videos. We'll be back again with a set of 5 questions. Till then, stay safe and take care. Thank you so much.